Hi, I'm Simon and this is my discovery. Welcome to another episode on Rover Drive, and today I'm going to talk about my 7 years of ownership of this car. Okay, so let's start with the basics. It's a 2008 model, but it's registered in 2007. So it has the Euro 4 engine, but it has no DPF. So it's pretty rare in that sense, because in 2007 it was optional to put on the DPF, but in 2008 you had to have DPF on the cars. I bought it in 2014, 25th of February, just after my second daughter was born. The plan was that it was going to be our #1 family car, and it has been for the past 7 years. When I bought it, it was a 2-seater. I waited for 7 months to register it as a 5-seaters. So the second row seats followed along with the purchase. And to put them in, to re-register it as a 5-seater, I had to pay 55,000 Norwegian kroners at the time. It had 100,000 kilometers on the clock when I bought it, and now it has passed 206,000. Oh, 200,000, it's official. So yeah, this video is going to be a good to evaluate 7 years of ownership, and also things you may have to change between 100k and 200k kilometers on this car. The car has been run as a horse carriage car by the previous owner. He had some scars here and there, but nothing major, and it seemed to be in a pretty good shape when I went to inspect it. It had a full service history, and not all of them was by certified Land Rover garages, but it looked pretty okay when I checked the service book. It had bad wheels, bad tires, it had a failing front wheel bearing. I could feel it when I went to inspect it, that it was moving. When I was at this inspection, I fell in love with this car pretty fast, and I knew I'm going home with this car. It was I've been searching for Discovery for a while, and this was in the price range that I could afford, with the 2-seaters and the rear seats following along. The only thing I noticed when on the inspection that could have changed my mind was that it didn't have a rear locker. So the ad said lockers with an S at the end, and the previous owner had seen the 2 locks in the 4-wheel drive info screen, and he didn't know better. But I haven't missed the rear locker till this day. It's something that I wish it was there, but I haven't missed it, and I'm not sure I'm going to miss it forward, because I'm an Overlander first and an off-roader second.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight all along. I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges. All I know, I got lost along the way, fell between the foam, pulling stitches. Time to let go, so come what may.
Okay, so let's talk quickly about reliability. This varies a lot depending on the car's history and the current owner's service plans. So for me, I'm not an exemplary owner. I've been falling behind on stuff on this car, which I'm going to show you later. Yeah, but I have done the most important ones, like flushing the gearbox and changing the oil on the engine regularly. So for 7 years, I have changed the oil 9 times. That in mind, I could have changed it even more, but for the past 1.5 year with COVID, it haven't been used a lot because I've been sitting at a home office. Okay, so Discovery has never broken down on a trip that's been, or a drive that's been longer than 1 kilometers. It is broke down 600 meters from my house due to the alternator failing, but that's common in every car. It has been undrivable once because of the handbrake jamming on, or the EPB module jamming on. But that is easily fixed by pulling the manual release. So that's once it's haven't been drivable. Other than that, it's always been drivable, never stopped. It had a cold start issue due to the glow plugs starting to fail, which is fixed. That being said, I have started it in negative, like minus 28 degrees Celsius. So it's been through a lot. So it's been through warm, cold, everything. So yeah, it has definitely been used, but not abused, this car. So mainly overland trips. It's been through the off-road area somewhere between 5 and 10 times, but mainly I have been using the Defender for off-roading. So yeah, it hasn't been abused. Okay, so the first year that I had it, I took it through to a place who works with underbody protection and chassis protection, and have had it. I think it's called iiDTOOL. It's like a black coating, which you put on like asphalt coating, or yeah, that you put on the chassis and underneath of the body. Other than that, I had the timing belt changed and the pump belt changed at the first year. I have since then flushed the gearbox, and I did that at 160 k's. I have changed the diff oil twice. I have changed the engine oil, as I said, 9 times. I have changed brake discs and pads. So I changed all of the discs 2 times, and I changed the front pads 4 times. And I have changed the brake shoes at the rear 1 time. And that's the thing that you should do more often, I think, because that was the reason for the parking brake to jam on. So yeah, service your brake parking brake shoes and mechanism, because it will get expensive if you have to change out the whole EPB module. So it's working. Okay, now to all the things that has failed on this Discovery, which you have maybe been waiting for. All the things that I had to fix that has failed for the past 7 years and the past 106,000 kilometers. I have to take off my phone because it's a I would say it's a long list, so I'm just gonna read it up. Yes, so the rear center prop has been changed. It's the bearing that fails, and if you're gonna change that, change off the whole prop. Don't bother trying to change out only the bearing. The air compressor has failed. I upgraded to the AMK one. Air reservoir failed. Got a hole in it. Yeah. If you're changing out the compressor, be sure to check the air reservoir, because it could be the reason why your compressor is failing, and it could be the reason why your new compressor will fail. So they tend to rust a hole in them, so just be sure to check that as well. EGR valves, the left one failed, but I changed both of them while I fixed the left one. So if you're going to do a change and you don't know if the other has been changed since you own the car, just change both, and you know you can drive for a lot of years if you use original parts at least. Glow plugs, as I said, they have all been changed. None broke off in the head. So if you're going to do the change of the glow plugs, be sure to get it to a specialist or someone who at least have done this before, because if you break off the glow plugs in the head, it's going to be a nightmare to get out, and it's going to cost you. Alternator has failed, which I talked about. Also, I changed the battery because the battery could be the reason for the alternator to fail. So that's why it's smart to change out the battery or do a test of the battery when the alternator fails. Auxiliary belt tensioner changed out. I got the high pitch squeal. There's a video on that on YouTube. Front left wheel bearing, which I talked about all in the beginning when I bought it. So I had to change that pretty much right away. I changed to Timken bearing, and it has been on there for 7 years now, that bearing. So it's holding up. So I recommend using Timken if you're going to change the front wheel bearing. Lower control arm front bushes failed, so rather than changing out just the bushes, I ordered new original lower suspension arms. Don't use the polybush. It's going to ruin your ride. It's going to be too stiff, and you're not going to like it. As one of the things with the Discovery and its air suspension and is the beautiful soft ride you get, so don't use polybush. Front left inner drive axle grease cover. So I'm not sure what it's called, but you know, the rubber plastic which sits around the CV joints, that failed on the inner. Changed it, pretty okay job to do. Steering rack inner tie rod both sides, so the rod that connects the steering out to the wheels, it had slack in the inner ball joint, so you can feel it click 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 click. Yeah. Let's see. Front calipers and caliper brackets was changed. Got some sticky brakes, so the after a while you can either service the brakes by taking out the pistons and lube it up, and yeah, but I find it better just to buy new parts and put it on. Takes less time, and also I know it's gonna last longer. So let's go to the rear. Rear toe links, both sides. Rear upper control arm bushing failed on the left. It was the bushing that sat on top at the rear of the control arm. The rear brake lines, so from the center and back, which goes over the diff, they have rusted through, so that's changed. I changed out the rear caliper and caliper brackets, also sticky brakes. If you feel like if you're driving along and you feel like vibrations and you know it's not the wheels, it could be that the brakes are sticking on, and then they will feel like a vibration after a while when the brakes get hot. EPB brake module mechanism, or the handbrake shoes and mechanism, and that's the point. You should service that, I don't know, every 5,000 maybe. Just clean it out and re-grease it, and you know you won't have a problem. I haven't done that, and that's one of the things that I've been lacking behind on when it comes to service. It's the handbrake module, and I even drove for a while with it working with a bit of squeal, but yeah. So it's jammed on, which I said, and I already filmed that, how you can unjam it. So if it's jammed and it's not working and it's making that loud squeal, try to unjam it before you start buying new EPB module, because that's going to cost you. Automatic gearbox loom seal, so the electronic wires that goes into the gearbox, there's a seal there, or I'm not sure what it's called, but it guides the wires into the box and seals up. That started leaking. It was changed when I did the flushing, so you can do that at the same time, so you don't have to go back, and it's going to cost you even more. Anti-roll bar bushings at the front on the right side has starting to fail, so I get like clunk 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 clunk. So if you hear a clunking sound from the front and it's not the lower control arms, it could be the roll bar, and it's hard to detect if the car is standing still because it's so heavy. But if you drive along on a gravel road and there's bumps, you can hear it pretty good. Yeah, and that's not, I haven't fixed that, so that's what I'm going to fix before the MOT this upcoming week. Rear parking sensor, I have fixed one and another one has failed. I'm not going to fix the other one. I'm just going to disable the parking sensors, but because I don't use them and they're just annoying. Lower tailgate retractable stay. You know, these wires go into I'm not sure what it's called. They call it a stay on the website. That failed, and that's also because of maintenance. So I fixed that one. This one started to the right hand side started to curl up, or you can see this wire not going in. So I just used some spray oil inside of the mechanism, and that just lubed it up again, and now it's working fine, and it has been working for 2 years. So if you see this starting to to slow and not go inside. Just open up and try and lube it up with some spray. So one horn failed. There's one horn in the front which pretty much gets sprayed with with salt and everything, water in the winter. So that has failed. Front fog lights. So one of them was failed on MOT. So I changed out both of them. So the lower lights you see, the fog lights, I have changed. Fuel burner heater. So I changed out the burn chamber on the unit that I had. That didn't fix it. So I bought a second-hand one from eBay. It came and it worked right away. So I'm guessing the electronic board on my old unit was what has failed. So that's everything on my list. It's a good list. It's not too big, but it has a couple of things that yeah, if you have to take it to a garage, it would be pretty expensive. So I try to do most of the things myself. So I order parts from England and then get them shipped here to Norway, and then I do it myself. I save both money on parts because it's much cheaper in England than in Norway, and also I save a lot of money on labor because labor in Norway is really, really expensive. So I don't have the cost of everything, and I don't know if I wanted to know, but I don't think it's going to be higher than if I drove a BMW X5 or yeah, something like that. My favorite feature on the Discovery, except the air suspension, is the rear tailgate. So yeah, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. I hope it's useful for some of you guys watching. All in all, I love this car. I wouldn't trade it out for anything at the moment. And yeah, had it for 7 years. First Land Rover I ever bought, and I'm going to keep it for a very, very long time. And hopefully the crank won't fail, and the gearbox or the converter will hold for many years to come. Yeah, be sure to subscribe, as I said, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.